if you just create for like a couple days, I'm like, man, I told you this social media stuff gonna work. Then you thinking like a consumer.
So why don't we have that same mindset when it comes to content creation, that it's not oversaturated? So whenever I think about mute your mic.
That water good.
Welcome to Create to Live podcast, the podcast where social media meets business and big dreams turn into bigger results.
Whether you're an entrepreneur, content creator, or a 9-to-5er, building your side hustle, you're in the right place.
Each week, we bring you actionable tips, inspiring stories, and insider strategies to help you grow your brand, monetize your passions, and create the success you seek. We are your hosts, Sherelle from Blue Wall Media
And Davon from Booker Consulting.
Together,
Let's create the life you want to live. Yes, sir. I'm drinking that water because it's hard out here to be a content creator and you got to stay hydrated. Hashtag H2O. It's your host, Jordan Booker, in the scene. And we have
Sherelle from Blue Wall Media Agency. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to another episode of Create to Live podcast. And we're super excited to get into today's, today's topic of consumer versus creator. What is the difference between the two? How do you transition? How do you, as a creator, still be able to be a consumer? How do you turn from just being a consumer to being a creator? So today we're going to get into that, get into the habits, the mindsets, and things like that. So first off, what is the difference between a consumer and creator? So I would say that the difference between a consumer and a creator when it comes to social media is when a consumer is the person who's, likes to binge watch shows, always says that they're gonna make something, or they're always, just looking at all the latest trends and things like that, versus the creator. Creators are people who are actually being a part of the trends, making the trends, setting the standards, setting the making new content to be able to post and to share for a consumer to watch. What would you say is the difference between a consumer and a creator as far as mindset and habits?
the difference is it's just like me. Like today, I wanted to watch my anime. I wanted to watch everything. And you could have the same effect on people. Like that could be like, man, I really want to watch King Jordan Book YouTube today. Or I want to really watch Just Sherelle Blue Wall content today. Like that can be a true reality for us. But if we never create, then that can never be a reality. Like sometimes I see people hating on content creators like, y'all ain't got a real job. But they do though. Like they don't tell movie people that, or they don't tell people who do shows. They're like, oh, they're my favorite character, and they changed my life. But since it's like someone they know or they think they can do it, like I got a phone all day, then that's creating like jealousy, I believe. But
envy,
because it's so close. Because you're like, I got a phone, I post on social media while I'm not popping. The whole time, like, did you put in that grind? Did you put in the time to create, go through struggles, go through ups and downs to become a content creator? And I would say sometimes, bruh, you really got to create long enough to get results. Because if you just create for like a couple days, I'm like, man, I told you this social media stuff gonna work. Then you thinking like a consumer. Like you want to have instant gratification. Like all we do is put on the TV and watch it. But instead, you are creating and hope. Because now you getting what they do on the back end. Like you don't see how many times the actor had to rehearse. You don't see the times the artist had to sing that song.
Yeah.
So
I like the what's it called, the analogy of like comparing it to like movie stars and actors. I think that that's definitely a great example as to what it is to be a content creator. Because as a content creator, you are not just the personality or just the actor. You're also the video editor. You're also the producer. You're also the writer. You're also the what's it called? They call it the director of photography, because you gotta do the graphic designer. You're the distributor. You're the finance person. You are literally everything when it comes to creating a content. And it's like, from the perspective of like other businesses, like as a social media manager and as a content creator for both businesses and for my personal brand, sometimes it's like, okay, so what all do you do? Because you just like on the front end when you post it, all they see is like, oh, cool edits. You have some maybe a filter or two on there, or you did a whole video and you had different shots. Like that's cool, but like they don't realize like that actually may have taken you like 3 hours because it's like an hour and a half of filming and an hour and a half of editing, and then who knows if it was a brand deal, now you have put in hours of contacting this brand, figuring out a package that works for them, sending them different drafts for them to review. If they like the edits, if they have edits, you have to change those and send in a whole new draft. Like there's a whole lot more hours that goes into being a creator versus as a consumer, the only thing you see is when it's posted. And sometimes you'll put them post notifications on for the next episode or the next video to come out. Maybe you follow them because you enjoy that. Versus that's like, as a consumer, that's their relaxation. While for a creator, like you said, that is their full-time job. That is their part-time job. That is a literal job they are doing and that they are creating. And so I think that it's important for consumers and creators to both have that respect and understanding of each position, because I've heard this saying multiple times where basically they say not everybody can be a business person because you need workers. Like not everybody can be a leader because you need followers. If everyone's a leader, then who's going to follow? Who's going to actually follow one of those leaders? Not everybody can be a business person because you need people to work the business. You need people to consume the business. So it's like there is a respect for consumers as there is a respect for creators, because for consumers, they're consuming that creativity because it's something that relaxes them or entertains them or educates them. And so having that mutual respect for both positions is truly important, even as a creator, because I know that even though I'm a content creator, I do consume other content creators as well, for whether it's inspiration, education, or just entertainment.
And I could go even further than this. I'm sure you never been like, ugh, I get to watch my favorite person's content.
Ugh.
I get to relax.
Ugh.
I get to laugh. Oh, I get to watch my favorite movie. Like your favorite movie, they put many hours into it, right? Mm-hmm. Months. So, even I got some friends when it's time to create content, they not excited. They're like, another day of content, or, like, man, like, but I'm looking at my friends like, is you gonna stick with it or what? Because what? The latter end now is you put in 4 years of grinding to quit.
What was the point?
That's how it's quiet. You did that for nothing, So I think when people don't want to create, or if they're creators and they feeling sad, or you got the 9 to 5 right now, like, man, I just work my job and get money, right? But that's why the why should be bigger than money. And I think people need to learn how to work for money, work without money. Like do something that it's not going to get you money in the beginning. It's a possibility to get money, but is it a grind? How will you grind to get the money without having money? Can you do that for real?
Can you volunteer for a job?
On me.
That's what I heard.
But
how long will you be a volunteer until you get the full-time position?
I don't think content creation like volunteering, but I see your point.
Explain.
I just think it's like your own, in a way, it's like your own business. And will you put enough in to see your business thrive?
Yeah.
Because it's a business. Like, you're going to create content to get people attention. In return for attention, you want to get compensated. But are you going to do it long enough to even get people attention and enough to get compensated? And how long are you willing to do that? Or you can be like, man, I'll just go work a job and get the money. But your money will never match your dream money if you just work a job, in my opinion.
So my question is, how do you transition? Because how do you transition from being a consumer to a creator? What are some habits that you would say need to change? What are some mindsets, things to keep in mind for a person who's transitioning?
I think the habits is learning how to handle the delayed gratification. Like, how long you gonna do something without quitting? How long you gonna do something without getting mad and like, man, I'm done? Or
throwing in the towel.
Second is having discipline to do what you say you're gonna do, when you don't want to do it. Recently, a lot of people been telling me like, I appreciate your consistency and keep going. I think I said this last podcast, but nobody's saying, man, I appreciate you going viral all
Yeah.
these times. So they like, you know, they have more awe in me keeping going with 0 to 10 likes each post than 1,000 posts, and I post once a month. So
I will say though, you do definitely get more than 10 likes now. So I think your example should be like 20 likes now.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, go ahead and make that shift and transition.
I appreciate it. My fault.
Of course.
My fault, gang. 20 likes.
Yeah,
So
it's a whole lot more.
20 likes is a whole lot more. I think third is being gratitude, because you could say, "Oh my goodness, I'm not getting 1,000 likes," but do your content look the same as the first day? Are there any improvements? Are you getting more likes? It's 10 now, 20. So congratulate yourself. And was last year were you doing this content creation? Give yourself a pat on the back for keep going. Give yourself a pat for even reaching out to brands. Give yourself a pat on the back for trying to make it happen. Because people have already like blown up and made their money. I still think it's fairly early. 20 years in the game. It's really just the beginning for real. So. And I think about it like it's like think about a kid, right? You gonna tell them everything they gonna do is already too late.
Interesting.
Because you just it's too late for everything. Just be a bum, like.
Yeah, because you never hear it's too many doctors in the world, it's too many engineers in the world, it's too many politicians in the world, but you hear it's too many content creators. But it's just like there's space for literally everyone.
Facts.
Like I like the example that you had gave in your YouTube video you did. You said it's not just one millionaire, it's multiple millionaires. It's not just one billionaire, it's multiple billionaires. That's not oversaturated. And that got me thinking, I'm like, that is so true. There are at least 10 millionaires that you have possibly walked past in your entire life. You have walked past at least 10 millionaires in your life. And yet there are still more millionaires being made millionaires every single day. So why don't we have that same mindset when it comes to content creation, that it's not oversaturated? That you can have 1 million followers on your social media platform. You just have to put in that work towards having 1 million followers, and you have to withstand it. If you're guaranteed that you will get 1 million followers on that social media platform, but you don't know when it will happen, will you quit? Like if you know you will have 1 million followers one day, but you don't know when that one day will happen, will you how long will you work towards having that? And I feel like that's a part of like your belief system. Do you believe that you can that one day you will actually have 1 million followers? Because when you do that, when you have that mindset, you have that belief, but you don't know when it can happen. It could happen tomorrow. It could happen in 10 years. But what efforts will you put in yourself as the creator to be able to reach that 1 million followers one day?
That's it. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for joining in, and final notes. Take time to be a creator more than a consumer, because all the people Sherelle know, they probably don't even know her for real. So what you gonna do with her?
Oh, you talking about all the content creators that I know?
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't know me. Well, one of them that I said knew me. One out of the 8. I think that counts for something.
Amen. Who which one you know?
Julia Davis.
Who's that?
Iconic Television. She is the icon.
Okay. Well,
H-Town.
Shout out, bro.
But yeah. Final notes for me is to believe in yourself as a creator and just keep creating, because that's something that, especially if that's something you desire, believe in yourself that you can be a great creator and then just create. We hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. Make sure you tune in to Create to Live podcast on our next one. Bye. We hope that you enjoyed this episode of Create to Live podcast. Make sure you tune in every single week to our podcast we release on Mondays. Subscribe, follow us. We are on Spotify podcasts as well as Apple Podcasts and iHeartRadio podcasts. If you want to follow us on social media, my social media is bluewall.media. That's BLUWALL.media on Instagram.
You can follow me at Davon.Booker, BOOKR, whole time. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you again for tuning in to Create to Live podcast.